Hey, it's Skell11 with another bunch of updates to my LEGO MOC Mecha, a hybrid between the Formula Zero and Layla Queen Skells from Xenoblade Chronicles X, with a heavy influence from the Unicorn Gundam. So if you've seen the previous versions of this, you'll see right away that it looks very different this time. So this is probably the most updates I've done to it at any one time. I'll start off from the bottom, completely replace the feet. Before, it just had Bionicle feet on there with nothing else. This time I built accurate to the formula feet for it. One problem is stability is not good. This part of the feet is just connected by a single stud, so it does not stay on really well. And I gotta be careful about how I place it down, because otherwise it'll lose its balance and fall over from too much pressure on here, breaking off from that one stud point. So I've got to figure out a way to make much more stable feet while still keeping this claw design. And on the back, the third claws from the feet to make it more accurate to the Formula Zero. If it was completely accurate, these would be able to go down and act as a third claw on the ground, but I couldn't figure out how to get it like that, so I put it this way instead, and I just put this piece here for stability. I added on a second sidearm here attached in this spot, and once I figure out how to put that on there, I'm going to be adding another one on this side once I figure out what to put on there. Now that I know I can attach another weapon in this spot. The next update was adding more frontal plating here. I removed, actually no, I didn't remove that piece, just put it over it. I forget if this was from the previous update or if it's from this one, but I have thermal grenades on the side here. So I'm not sure what these side things are called. I love mechs with designs like that, like the Barbatos Lupus. Barbatos Lupus is one of my favorite Gundams of all time, but I'm just not sure what these things are even called. It's also one of the reasons that I really like the Freedom Gundam, because it also has stuff like this on it. And as previously mentioned, this is heavily inspired by the Unicorn Gundam with its coloring and green lights everywhere, as well as this shield, which is the only weapon on here that's based on something not from Xenoblade X. All the other weapons are weapons from Xenoblade for Skells, except for this one, which is the Unicorn Gundam shield, or based on the Unicorn Gundam shield. So I'll be taking that off. Show it also. And there's what I mentioned about having to be careful about how I set it down, because the feet do not like staying on. Alright, I guess I'll just show the shield while holding it up. So the outside of the shield has not been updated, but I added the Gatling Guns under the shield from the Unicorn Gundam this time. They can rotate, but not too well. Going to remove the beam saber so I can get it close to the camera so that doesn't bump into anything. The biggest update this time is I tore out the whole inside here and replaced it with new fully built head and chest area. Before, the chest area was just a single bionicle piece and the head was a lot less detailed. Now I've got a fully built head and fully built chest vent area. The head was the hardest part because it took a really long time to figure out how to get the head on differently from how the other head was. The other head was actually attached to this backpack part. So this new head is attached on the, well, whatever this piece is, the shoulder pieces. It's attached between the shoulder pieces. And I also had to tear out some of the interior Technic parts to fit this and the new head on. It's hard to get it really close to the camera with how big this thing is. I forget if this update was from the last batch or not, but I added a scope onto the beam rifle, as well as a scope onto the beam sniper. And I need you to stand up for now. I also recolored the beam sniper. I'm not sure, again, if that was from this batch of updates or from the previous time I showed it. But got a scope on the beam rifle now and recolored it to be more clean looking. And then lastly, updated the beam Gatling. Come on, feet. Stay on. Yeah, I really need to figure out how to make better feet for this. Looks great. Does not work great. So it's not perfect, but I made the beam Gatling able to actually rotate using this gear, though the positioning doesn't work out quite right, and I need to find a different gear piece that'll work better for this. Because you gotta press on this one to actually get it to rotate. So I believe that's everything that I've changed on this. As you can see, it looks way more like the Formula Zero now, like it's supposed to. Just with some aspects of the Layla, mainly these things and the legs are based more off the Layla, while the rest of it is based off the Formula. So I should have some more updates on this eventually, because I gotta figure out how to make better feet. And I also still want to make fully built drones instead of just using these pieces thrown on here. I want to replace this with individual drones that I can take on and off this thing and have them sit around on their own. But the new head is probably the biggest thing that changes this, just giving much more of the appearance of the formula thanks to that head. So if there's any characters from any series that you want to see minifigures of, or you want to see a specific LEGO Pokemon, then see commission info linked in the description below. And see you next time!